Today we are breaking down the new Garmin R50 launch monitor. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this unique launch monitor. I've been testing just about every launch monitor for about a decade now, and I'm here to help the indoor golf shop customers evaluate the right products for their budget level and performance requirements. So what is it that makes the Garmin R50 so unique? Well, when you first look at it, the answer is quite obvious. It has a 10-inch HD touchscreen that features an all-in-one design that nobody else has right now. Also, the R50 doesn't require a separate computer for basic simulation, which I think is a huge feature. You're also able to plug it directly into a projector with an HDMI port on the back, and you'll immediately be playing simulated golf. No PC, no tablet, nothing extra required. As I've said, I've tested a ton of products over the years, and this integrated approach is something we just haven't seen before. Now let's get to what all of us care about the most, accuracy. I've compared the R50 to the benchmarks I know for every club in my bag with my testing on commercial grade launch monitors. I love that it's using 3 high-speed cameras to capture ball and club data. If you have limited space indoors, a camera-based system is definitely the way to go versus radar. For the most part in my testing, I found that the carry distances were within several yards of what I'm used to seeing with each club in my bag. The spin rates showed minimal variance, maybe between 200 to 400 RPMs, but nothing major. And the simulated shot shapes that I was seeing was mostly what I'd expect from the higher priced units. I wouldn't say that this is the most accurate launch monitor there, but you can expect numbers that are really going to be close to industry leaders like TrackMan and Foresight Sports. The R50 is also going to track club head metrics like angle of attack, face angle, and club path if you're attaching some reflective stickers to the club head that are included with your purchase. I would say that these numbers were pretty much in the ballpark from what I see on my Foresight GC3, but just a touch further off than the ball data I was seeing. Now let's get to the special sauce. With the R50, you are essentially purchasing a simulator in a box. While it does cost about $5,000, it potentially has some cost savings. When purchasing a launch monitor, many golfers don't consider how much money they're going to be spending on a gaming PC, a projector, the wiring, software, and the hitting screen. These additional costs can increase your setup by thousands of unexpected dollars. However, with the Garmin R50, you can use the native display as your entire visual system. You only need a hitting mat and a net to enjoy full simulation. Again, this is different than anything out there. And in my opinion, this is the main reason to consider purchasing this product. And to continue on the point of simplicity, it's incredibly easy to use. It's pretty much like interacting with a slick Apple product. You turn it on and you're ready to go in under a minute without worrying about loading all types of software on your computer. You can easily customize the types of data you're seeing with a few taps on the screen. I would say that the hitting area was one of my few minor complaints of this product. It's a little smaller and a bit more finicky than my GC3, and sometimes it took multiple attempts to make sure it was in the right position. The screen will alert you where you need to place the ball, and you'll also get a green light from the LED to know that you're in the right spot. But I think most people would get used to this over time, and I would too. Another thing to know is that the Garmin R50 is huge. It made my GC3 look like a miniature launch monitor. Now it does come with a really nice carrying case, but I highly doubt people are going to lug this thing to the driving range. So if you're going to buy this, I would mostly consider it an indoor only option. Now when purchasing any launch monitor, the software that you're using is really important to consider. When you buy the R50, you can expect to pay about $99 a year for Garmin's native software if you want to play simulated courses. You do get free access to the range with no additional charge, but as I said, you're likely going to want simulated courses, so you're going to pay for them. Now, this isn't as expensive as competition like GS Pro, but it's also not as good either. You do get access to about 42,000 golf courses, which is really nice. The graphics are clean, but not photorealistic, and the output is about 1080p, which is high definition. However, for those looking for crisp 4K resolution, cannot get it with this product. Home Tee Hero is fun to play, but right now it lacks many gameplay features. For example, you can only do stroke play with up to 4 players. Additionally, the practice range and the Garmin app that goes along with it are good and will be plenty for most golfers. but don't expect to get advanced features that really let you dive into the data like some other software solutions. Now, I want to make it clear you can integrate with software like GS Pro and E6 Connect, but then you're going to need a gaming computer that can handle those graphics. And in my opinion, that kind of defeats the purpose of going with the R50. I really would recommend that most people considering purchasing this would want to go for the all-in-one experience. Overall, the software that you do get with the Garmin, I think, is really good for the value. So who is the ideal Garmin R50 customer? I think it's someone who wants to upgrade from the budget models and demands more accuracy and features. It's also a golfer who values simplicity and doesn't want the hassle of dealing with a computer and third-party integrations, which can be a headache at times. Additionally, if you have limited space and are mostly using this for home practice and simulation, this is going to suit your needs quite nicely. But let me make it clear who it isn't for. If you want the absolute best accuracy in the industry, there are better options out there, but you're going to pay more for those. If you want 4K graphics, more advanced driving range features, the ability to play tournaments online, and more user-designed courses, you can technically get that with the R50, but I think another launch monitor would be suited for that third-party integration. Also, if you are big into data and analytics and like to run complicated tests between your clubs or strategic decisions, I don't think the native software that Garmin provides is going to suit you. Overall, this is an absolutely awesome product. Garmin did a phenomenal job here. It's a very clean consumer product, but not a professional one. You can't get it all no matter what you're going to purchase, but I think the R50 is going to be a hit with tons of golfers who want that dream simulator setup at home, but aren't willing to invest tens of thousands of dollars. If you want more information about the Garmin R50, you can read our in-depth review, and don't hesitate to reach out to the Indoor Golf Shop staff. They're experts and they're here to take your question.